really struggled to understand the man.
Shadows of Angmar with a twist.
My aim is to wither a huge monster like a Mummock or a Balrog.
Goodbye, hero and fog of war.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I want to see you on stream with a...
Oh. Sam, you're literally Frodo right now.
He is the hero!
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 73 of the Gollum's Gamers podcast, where today we are going to be reviewing the GBHL League Finale, which is a GBHL 100 event held this weekend in Newcastle. Now, tonight I'm joined by Adam, Sam, and a very special guest who's recently been named the soon-to-be new GBHL League Coordinator, although currently he's the captain of the Any Heroics crew, our arch rivals in the GBHL. It's Mr. Stephen Denby. So thank you for joining us tonight, Denby, and congratulations on your new post.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to be here again.
Now, this weekend, I'm actually going to be at the finale doing one of my tournament live streams. I'll be live all weekend long on both the Saturday and Sunday. So please do swing by the stream here on our YouTube channel for some great tournament action to close out the first year of the new edition. As always, though, you can find us on Instagram and Spotify by following the links in the description down below. And also, please consider subscribing to us here on YouTube if you enjoy everything that we do here on the channel. Now, before we get underway, though, as you're going to be the new league coordinator, Denby, in your first public appearance here, I thought I would give you a moment to speak to the GBHL audience that are out there if you have any thoughts or anything to share with us.
Firstly, thank you to any and all of the TOs who voted, not just the ones who voted for me. I'm basically going to be the person who is chairing the management group, who are responsible for all the wonderful administration of the GBHL, whether that be bits you agree with, bits you don't agree with, will be the ones who are in charge. As coordinator, I'm the person who coordinates all the other roles, chairs the meetings, and makes final decisions where required, although generally we are a democracy because it used to have just a single person running it, and then back in Ali King's day a few years ago.
I was literally just about to say, was that in the Ali King day?
he was like, this is too much work for any single person. I want to split it up into multiple roles. And now there's 11 roles total, 5 of which are regional roles, and then there's the rankings officer, the secretary, the treasurer, the league coordinator, the media person, and the scheduler. Yes, sorry, rankings was the first one I said. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be hopefully helping to shape the league as it goes onwards and developing all those additional rules, working on a few bits and bobs here, tightening up rules with a few events, making sure that TOs are getting all the resources that they should be getting, including GBHL winners dice, because not many TOs actually know they should be getting those.
They were at Melton, I think.
They were at Melton, but we had 3 reps there, so you'd feel kind of bad if we didn't.
Fair. Yeah. Any sort of like things on the horizon, or sort of very early days? I mean, you haven't even at the time of recording yet actually stepped into your
yeah. So my first official, I'm not going to say working day because I'm a volunteer. We're all volunteers. It's going to be the day after the finale. One thing we're looking for at the moment is we are just finishing off hobby premium events. So that's something to look out for, which is basically events which classify themselves as going the extra mile when it comes to hobby. So they have multiple hobby awards given out with a podium. Each of those will have their own prizes. Generally, it's encouraging a higher standard of hobbying. And it's kind of like a GBHL 100, but for painting. Because at the moment, it's very easy to classify a more competitive event in terms of gaming. But when it comes to painting, that's something we've been wanting to encourage. It's Harry Parkhill's project, as he is leaving the committee now. He's just finished off doing that. And the rewards for it will be essentially assisted points for tie-breaking purposes. Rules will be published in the next week or so, hopefully. So they should be up maybe in the next couple of days. One other thing we worked on is that we are now doing a teams divisions. So the top X number of teams will be in Division 1, Division 2, Division 3.
I see.
And then there'll be awards for each section of each league. So if
Interesting.
you come first in the middle league, you'll get a different prize. Um, and the kind of point of that, it will be a little interesting in the first year of doing so, but hopefully once we've got regular teams competing regularly, it means that there's something more for the teams who are not necessarily
Not
just the top
the
three.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's the other teams in the middle have got something to fight for to get into the higher leagues, etc. So
Mm,
it's more about kind of spreading the love with prizes.
yeah.
I would like to clarify these are not ideas that have come directly from myself. That's not part of my manifesto. It's something we've been working on in committee because I've been on the
Yeah.
committee for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So
So that's been over the last little while that all those plans have been coming together, and now
yeah.
they'll be going into practice starting from the 2026 season, or
Yes,
yeah.
I believe hobby premium events are going to be 2026. However, I need to double check the minutes from the other night because
Yeah.
actually it was literally yesterday, so I should know, but it was a almost 3 hour meeting. So
Okay, so look out for some GBHL blogs or anything like that. Our very own Ali King is the new media officer, so I'm sure he'll be posting on the GBHL website with more information about all those things and many more. But obviously, best of luck as you're in your role as new league coordinator, Denby.
thank you.
But before we get kind of onto the event statistics for the finale, I thought we should talk about the event itself a little bit because there are some confirmed scenarios. Does anyone know all the scenarios off the top of their head?
I do. It's 4 new ones and 1 old one. So it's going to be, and this isn't in order, it's going to be random order. It's
Yeah.
lead from the front, which is the one where your tier of heroes matters. It's stake a claim, where you get fortification points. It's the one with the 5 objectives
Within
in a
range
kind
of your
yeah.
yeah.
Convergence, which is a divide and conquer style deployment with 4 objectives that you then have to pull to
Run
the
to the
middle and
middle.
fight. Sites of Power, which is a maelstrom at night time one where there's 4 sites of power which have special effects every turn. And then everyone's favorite, the good old classic Fog of War.
Fog of War to close us out. Or well, but it's in any order, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
but those are the 5 scenarios that will be on the live stream over the weekend. Now, obviously, people didn't know the scenarios while writing their lists, so they weren't able to sort of tailor. But we'll get to see lots of the new scenarios on stream. But let's start having a look at some statistics for the event. Okay, so kicking things off here with the army statistic, the army list statistics for the event. In the top spot here with 9 appearances is Men of the West. No surprise to see it kind of at the very top end, but at the very top for this event, which has roughly 65-ish players, I think. In joint second place is Erebor Reclaimed and Grand Army of the South, which is a little bit rogue. I don't think we've seen that kind of anywhere in the top 3 this year, so we shall come onto that. In a 4-way tie for third place, we have armies like Army of the Great Eye, AOL, the Depths of Moria, and Return of the King, and obviously tons of other army lists as well. But Denby, I'll hand over to you. First of all, Men of the West, you've won a GBHL 100 with Men of the West this year.
Incorrect. I'm a one-trick pony. I've only won with Uglook Scouts. I've come second.
You podiumed with a...
Yes,
there we go.
I came second at Imps. Men of the West is an incredibly tactically flexible list. Between about 800 and 1,000, you can just get all the things you want in there, depending on your flavor. The scenarios involved, depending on which heroes you've got, lead from the front. You've obviously got a legend in Aragon because you have to take him. And then you've probably got 2 very strong Valors in Legolas, Gimli, Aemir, Gandalf the White, Gwahir, some combination of those, who are going to be able to take the objectives and survive, which is kind of the important thing with lead from the front. You'll always see the thing you should be doing in that scenario is targeting the heroes, because if your opponent has no heroes left and you do have heroes left, you have won the game. It is as simple as that. Stake a claim. Again, you just march up, you get to the middle, you've got heroes who can, and you've also got dominant 2 on all your troops who are infantry within range of your heroes. So again, that's massive points. If you've got a 44 model list, suddenly you've got essentially 80 points worth of dominance on maybe D7 troops. Convergence, your army does still function well when it's apart because Aragon's free marches and everything's fearless. That's probably the weakest scenario, I would say. But even so, you end up having a scrap in the middle. You've got things like Legolas who can snipe out enemy objective carriers, yada yada. Sites of Power, it's in the dark, you're split up, but Legolas just basically has a Gatling gun in the dark because he gets +1 to wound. And
A
again,
machine gun.
being split up is not the worst because you're fearless. And then Fog of War, you've got a very solid battle line. Again, dominant 2. You've got Legolas, who
Leggy.
you will be keeping safe. If people don't have Legolas in their Men of the West list, they've done something wrong, is all I'm going to say.
There were lots of variations from looking through the lists of the Men of the West list, but one thing that did not change from one to the next is Leggy being in there. But there were some with like the twins, some with Imrahil. Well, one of them with Imrahil in there as well. At least like 2, I think, that have chosen not to have any heroes mounted and have taken Gwahir. So quite the spread there, which is interesting. I think there's more than one successful way to run it for sure.
I think the Gwahir build is something that is viable at 1,000 for sure, because Gwahir just gives you so many additional tech options. I think the twins are something that's interesting. I absolutely do not agree with Prince Imrahil, because I think if you're doing it for the fight 6 spear supports, just like that's 100 and what is he, 150, 160?
I think he was at Imrahil on foot.
I would take Gimli
with
before I'd take
Gwahir.
Imrahil.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
You take Gimli before him, you wouldn't take Aemir on foot, but you'd take Gimli and extra troops before you take Imrahil, because Imrahil is just, he's too expensive what he does. I know whose list that is. I think it's Conor Morris's.
Yeah.
And he took it last week at Melton, and he didn't have a lot of success with it, but he did win most sporting, which is about time for a man of his sporting stature.
Did he take the Imrahil list to Melton? I
believe it was exactly the same list. It was something like Aragorn, Gwahir, Imrahil, Legolas, and then just dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. And he didn't do that well.
The twins are quite an interesting one, because for 160 points, you get 2 kind of Gimli and Gloin-esque line breakers. They're a bit squishier, but they're a bit more like reliably fighting. Well, I was about to say fighting bigger things. The problem they'll have is they're D6 and they're not going to kill as much. But they're a little like dominant 2 combo.
Nice. A little pair. Yeah. Am I making this up? Do they get to share resources?
No, they don't.
They don't. No. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I think out of these, like, obviously there is a large number of Men of the West, but then I think the main list that people have been playing is Depths, and that's what's that sixth most popular or so. So which is it's nice to see. To be fair,
seeing only 3 is not very many, is it? I would say as a shout out to Mr. Edward Ball, who I played this weekend just gone. He's going to be playing his Beornings at the finale, so nice to see him back on the scene.
Yes, for sure.
It's been a while. As I said to him the other day, I don't enjoy playing against you, but I do enjoy seeing you at events, because obviously he is a tactical mastermind and statistically the most winningest player to ever play in the GBHL.
Ever. Yeah, so... Yeah. No scouts on here, Denby.
No.
No.
Well, I'm not there. So I'm the only
You're the only one
insane
enough to have 1,000 points.
I think the problem you'd run into with scouts is lead from the front is a bit of a roughie for them, because you've got 1 Valor and then everything else is Fortitude.
But did you know the scenarios before submitting your list though?
So I'm not going. Is the important thing to know.
Scouts wouldn't be the issue then, would it?
That's it.
No, exactly. But I think if I was going to the finale, I probably wouldn't have taken scouts. I would have taken something
with 5 games.
I would have maybe gone for All Hero Erebor Reclaimed. I saw there's 2 people who are alphabetically adjacent to each other in the army lists, and have both taken the 13 dwarf list. It's fun.
Interesting.
It's nice to see another Rise of the Necromancer on there as well. And my boy host of the Dragon Emperor is turning up, which is interesting.
Yes, back. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to running that at some point.
And there's also two Thorins companies, including my boy Chris Murfitt, who's coming down from Scotland. There's quite a few Scots coming down because it's in Newcastle. So that's good to see.
Yeah. Lots of all hero dwarf lists. Adam, any thoughts on any of these lists at all?
I mean, compared to last week's event, which was also 1,000 points,
the
lists seem quite similar, no? Or what do you guys notice as the biggest differences?
More Erebor acclaimed.
More
Yeah,
Grand Army of the South?
yeah.
I'm
Because
surprised there's not much like there's only two Lothloriens. There's not many like elf lists.
Yeah,
no,
one
there's a couple
Battle
of
Five
four
Armies, I find surprising because like
Oh
that's a
yeah,
list
yeah.
that
There was
has a lot
there,
of has
yeah,
everything you would
Yeah.
want in a list like tech
yeah.
wise
There was a
at
few of
that
those, I
points
think.
level, but there's only
Yeah,
one, so I know that's
yeah.
Finley as well. So
Yeah, and
it's
obviously at this event, there's like half as many players as there were last weekend, so there should in theory
The,
be more,
the
maybe.
thing about elves in at least the UK meta, Adam, is that they just kind of get spanked by a lot of the meta lists. Like Men of the West, Aragorn just eats elves for breakfast. Balrog lists, they just lose to goblins with the Supreme Banner
The banner.
support.
mm,
So I've seen Lothlorien have like come this close to succeeding, Luke Hilda especially,
Yeah,
but I still think
I,
that
I
the
think
lists
I think Lothlorien could deal with Balrog list at 1,000 because you've got double transfix. You could have
yeah. The
two, maybe
magic
even
is
three banners at that point. You've got D6 front line, which is exactly what goblins don't like.
the problem you would have is that you are going to need to transfix both the Balrog and the Watcher at the same time and also deal with the 60-ish goblins who yeah, I mean it's definitely doable. And I've seen Luke Hilda do it before actually at 800 points with
Mm.
just Balrog lists versus his Lothlorien. But I think Lothlorien is a list that's quite a reactive list and it's quite slow. Um, and it encourages shooting. And something like I think when I looked at it, it was about two-thirds of the scenarios require you to do a lot of moving to the center,
movement.
which
Mm.
Lothlorien doesn't love unless you go for a heavy shield and pike build, which
Yeah.
that's what Luke favors at the moment.
Yeah,
yeah,
like at Melton last weekend, I we looked at my five armies list on the pod, and I mentioned that I'd reduce the amount of crossbows from when I took it earlier this year when there was only the 6 scenarios out, which kind of leaned heavily into shooting. So I went from 13 down to 8, and I kind of wish I took even fewer because there was barely any games where I really needed the shooting. There's just so much movement in the scenarios at the moment, and obviously we've seen it come up. The majority
Yeah.
of the scenarios, like you say, you need the movement and stuff. So that sort of stuff is generally just more
It,
important at the
it's
moment.
something that I've done a bit of weird theory crafting with earlier in the year. I ran a Nobo Halls of Thranduil, which had Legolas and a Sentinel, so technically two bows. But you just spam glaives, and that was really
Yeah,
good in combat
glaives
until
are
my
so
dice
good.
failed me.
Yeah,
Um, I think bows do have a place, but only if they cost a single point. So when I'm running it in Uglux, I spend 23 points on bows, which is the equivalent of 3 models. And that gives
yeah,
enough of a shooting threat. But if your list is entirely reliant on the shooting, if you're too static and you have to play something like, I don't know, I want to say Convergence or Stake a Claim or literally any of the scenarios that we've got,
yeah,
which are in theory shooting scenarios, by the time you've sat there and shot for ages, you're behind on the points, you're not on the objectives, and you might have
yeah.
just lost the game because of it.
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Agreed. Okay, well, we won't touch on any more of these lists too much because we may be talking about them a little bit later on. So we shall leave it there for the army list statistics, and we shall move on to having a look at one of our first lists, the Grand Army of the South, as we mentioned. So this is a 56 model list at 1,000 points, led by the Golden King, with 3 Haradrim Raiders with War Spear, 5 Haradrim Warriors with Spear, 2 Mahud Warriors with Blowpipe, 3 Haradrim Warriors with Bow, and 2 Watchers of Karna. Then he has Raza leading 12 Serpent Guard, an Easterling Captain leading 12 Easterling Warriors with Halberd and Shield, and a War Mummock of Harad. And it's the Beastmaster Chieftain. That's the guy that rides it, right? Is
Mhm.
that an upgrade, or is that just like as it comes?
Yeah, you pay for the
That's an
Beastmaster.
upgrade, sure. But yeah. So
Yeah.
with that, Tusk weapons and repelling lines, and there's 12 Harad warriors there as well with bow. So thoughts on this, Denby? First of all, because this is your teammates list, Mr.
I was
David
going to
Farmer.
say, I recognize this list because as much
Yes.
as I love Farmer, I've told him this list is pretty bad. Um,
Tell us
I
why.
so I think the scenarios it'll actually do okay with because the Murmac's quite good at just running over bits.
We have just
Obviously,
seen a Mummock do very well very
we
recently.
have.
Mm.
My problem with the
Slightly different,
list
but
is that because it's only single War Beast, it's kind of a bit of a one-trick pony or one-trick elephant. The It's got 12 D6 models and everything else is D4 or below. Apart from, I
mm,
appreciate Mahud Warriors do go up to D5 because they've got a shield, but we've got a total of what, two? So sue
Mm.
me.
mm,
Um, it also, I feel like it's just it will struggle to heavy magic lists.
fair.
Um, Whether that's because, albeit you can't compel a moment to trample over stuff anymore, you can still just transfix it every turn.
Yeah.
And he hasn't taken the Sigils of Defiance, which he was discussing with me about taking. Um, I think
And what is
the
that for? Is that resistant to magic or
resistant to magic and a 6+ feel no pain, or 6+ ignore a wound for anything in the Howdah and the Mummock itself.
right?
Um, I think, albeit we've seen it's 9 men of the West, there will be some Gandalf the Whites in there.
Mm.
Um, we know there's some Witch Kings and some Barrow Whites and things like that coming up. But it just doesn't have quite the resilience against magic. I can't remember if Golden King has Heroic Resolve. Um,
I think he might do like that and
I want to say
defense.
no, personally. I can't
but
imagine that being a heroic,
to,
yeah.
to me, it's a list that has a bit of an identity crisis between being a shooting list with 17 bows, but they're only strength 2 bows, rerolling ones.
Mm.
It doesn't have a strong battle line. It does have some very good heroes. I think the Golden King of Abrakan is pretty cracked at the moment if you don't play Magic. Raza is quite strong, and I think the Easterling Pipe Block has potential to do some bits and bobs, but I and I know Dave's going to be listening and he's going to message me afterwards and be like, "Man, you said my list was bad." But he's won the league. He's won more hundreds this year than anyone else has in a year. He's just having some fun and trying something out he wants to try out.
Fair
So
enough. Yes, yes. Well, resolve is actually the only heroic action the
is
Golden
it
King has.
Well, I've been
So
good.
no
very
defense. I
good?
was I was
Wow.
wrong.
Very good.
Yeah. Sam, your thoughts on this one because you were intrigued by sort of the Mummock, just sort of the general makeup of this
Yeah,
one.
I actually think this is probably better than Stephen gives it credit for. I think having a contingent of warriors on foot, like 12 long line of Easterlings backed by Serpent Guard isn't, I think it's good to have in this list. The shooting, like I played against Jakub last event and the Mummock shooting was unbelievably cracked. You know, maybe he
17
spiked more than
bows.
he should have, but like, you know, it's still a threat that if you it can do a fair amount to certain pieces and because you're so high up, it's then really hard to actually provide in the ways for stuff properly. Like, you can usually only ever get one for your main pieces. And the Golden King is a good leader. The then the repelling lines also is can
What does that
definitely be
do? I'm
annoying.
actually so unfamiliar with what the upgrades do.
So it's basically you can just during your move, or any of the move that you can choose to jump on you just roll a dice and on the one they fall down and then
Right, but
basically
anything
die.
else,
But if
they
on a
come
six
down.
or six, whatever, they just come down and then they can also do a move at the bottom, so they can then
Oh.
move 6 inches and charge
So is that a
and
new
do whatever.
edition thing? I
And
don't
no, they were
remember
the
hearing
repelling
about it
lines were in
before.
last edition,
Was that a
but
thing last edition?
I think they were just bad.
Yeah.
No one used them really, so I
Maybe it was
don't know what they
different
did.
or yeah.
Um, but yeah, like realistically, if you lose a move off against this, you can just lose the game, which is always a fun thing to play against. Psych. So I think Farmer will do well with this. I like it because it's different. Realistically, it's nothing none of the classic ones people seem to take all this edition.
Yes.
And as well as Raza, I first time I've seen I want to say Raza in the list, being the fight 4 going up to
Mm.
strength fight 6 legend that he is.
Lemon.
And then yeah, it's got March as well, so I think it'll play decent for the scenarios,
Yeah.
even though it's got
It's just
17 rows.
when it gets there, will it be able to sort of hold the line? Like, will that 12 line block of D6 hold up? Like, is sort of the
Yeah, like
question.
I mean, like so you got two banners in here because the Golden King's a banner, and then the Mummock's also a 6 inch banner.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so you'll have
That's
rerolls
nice.
everywhere, kind of thing, and
Mm.
like it's I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if I think they will probably lose a game for this,
Mm.
maybe two, I reckon. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 4-1 and does fairly well
Yeah,
overall for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a 5-0, but it could be a 4-1.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm. Yeah. Adam, any do you see many mummoks in the Spanish scene at the moment, or
No, I don't actually.
no?
I haven't actually seen a Mimic in ages. Lots of troll brutes and Gorgoroth
Interesting.
beasts.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this list is fun, but I just think it's made out of paper. I think at 1,000 points, you can get so many battle lines which are like
Yeah.
fight five, defense six. I mean, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
I
suppose
think it's gonna melt.
the
Mm.
counterpoint to that is, and I will go back slightly on how negative I was about it, is that if the Mummock just walks over 15 Iron Hills dwarves or Erebor dwarves or whatever, it is going to make a significant impact.
That's so
Mm.
sad. Yeah.
Um, and I suppose at 1,000 points, you are going to be getting those elite infantry, which are worth 10 points each, 12
Erebor
points each,
reclaimed.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically looking at you, Ali King. Um, the other thing though is that 1,000 points, you're also going to get the heroes who can reasonably sit in front of it and stop it, like Guahir.
Exactly. So something like
Yeah.
Erebor Reclaimed, they're just gonna have multiple little heroes which are quite hard to take out with one trample.
Yeah,
Mm.
the best model at defending against it, who is just a standard infantry model and not like the Necromancer, because the Necromancer is a different case, is Nori, Champion of Erebor, if he's within range of Dory and Ori, because he's
Yeah,
got like,
D9.
yeah, he's D9, and then he's got all the will, sorry, all the fate, and he's got all the might to boost those
Yeah.
fate
Yeah.
rolls up.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I think it's a fun list. I know it's highly dependent on the terrain, and if Dave goes 5-0 with it, I'll absolutely, you know,
Could
I'll
Dave win the finale with this list in his victory lap?
he absolutely could. Dave's
He
the kind of
could.
player who
You
could
never
do
know.
it.
You never know.
The other thing is like the Murmic's actually deceptively hard to cast magic on because you have to get so close to
Hmm.
the guy on top to actually be able to
Yeah.
cast. And by the time you're within 12 inches of the dude, you're like 6 inches away from the Mummock. And then be able to go in and out and stuff is tricky. Like Barrow Wights physically can't cast on the Mummock. It's not possible. He's too high up. So they become useless, but pretty much. You can
Mm.
only target the Golden King in this list, really. That's of any
Yeah,
Yeah.
value. So it's definitely interesting. I'll be surprised. I'll
Yeah.
be intrigued to see how he does.
Mm. Well, in
I hope he
order,
gets to play on stream.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
in order to see whether he will win the event in his victory lap, you can tune in to the live stream at the finale, and maybe catch this list on there. But we shall leave it there and move on to quite an interesting list here: a Defenders of the Pelennor list, led by Gandalf the White, on Shadowfax with Pippin. He also has Aragorn Strider without Anduil. He also has Huron on horse and the twins as well. He's got roughly 20 tin cans, some are shields, some are shield spear. He's got 4 men at arms, 6 Blackroot Vale archers with spear, and 1 knight of Minas Tirith as well. So for 38 models, but he's got quite the sort of variety of heroes in there. He's got magic, he's got Aragorn, some fight 7, some troop blenders and stuff in there as well. Only 38 models, and like not the most elite sort of troops in there, but sort of enough to maybe stand firm. Sam, you were quite sort of high on this one. What were your thoughts?
I I think this list is I like it because it's an interesting like
Mm,
way of going about it. The problem I have with this list is that model count. Um, it's got a lot of tools with it with Strider. I mean, not having a hand drill is kind of rough, but
sad.
then
Yeah,
you got
it's
Huron
40
who,
points.
yeah, on the horse can kill stuff fairly reliably, and Gandalf's obviously much better this edition.
Mm,
The twins are good to just put in the line and try with 3 attacks, just murder stuff. But then yeah, it's mainly the 38 models, which is something which I don't know how prolonged he can really fight for without then starting to lose on objectives or
yeah,
like yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of this. I'll be intrigued to hear how it how it plays out. Like this is one that a Mummock, if it was just to go over, your even if it killed 10, that's then really bad. Like
Yeah,
really, really bad.
You
you
know,
start to fall
you know, we
apart.
were talking about heroes that can stop a mimic. I'll name you some heroes that can't stop a mimic.
Yeah.
Hurin, Eladan, Elrahir.
Oh no.
The worst part about Eladon and Elra here is the moment runs over one of them and the other guy's like, ah!
Yeah. Does look like
This
nice
is
feet.
I believe this is my new Northern rep Adam Bird's list because I remember looking at it and being like, he's either absolutely on the sauce and he's bro's cooked
He's
or he
cooked.
has cooked. Um,
Or he
I
is
think
cooked.
I think it's trying to make the most of the heroic combats, and if Gandalf, Aragorn, Hurin, and the twins each kill 4 models in the heroic combat turn, and that's 20 models dead, while the rest of the line just exists, that's
Mm.
great.
The
But
issue I have with that is the twins killing 4 models in a heroic combat turn with no
hey,
monsters.
hey,
Yeah.
listen.
If they can kill 3, that's good.
Yeah,
They can kill 2. They can kill the first 2, needing 5s to wound, most likely. I'll be surprised.
yeah. I think it is the bits in the list I don't like are Hurin, Eladan, Elrahir, the D5, and also Aragorn and Gandalf, Shadowfax, and Pippin.
But the problem, though, I see where he's coming from. So, like, he's taken Hurin, but you sort of have to take another Minas Tirith hero in order to take Minas Tirith troops, because the only other troops that you can take are the ghosts, which would obviously make the model count even lower. So it's like, who else are you maybe taking other than Hurin? You have the March with Aragorn, so like, I don't know where else you would go. Obviously, 100 points for Hurin. What was he last edition on horse? Was he 90 or was he less than that? I thought he was like 85 on
I
horse or
think he
something
was
last edition.
85.
Was he
Yeah.
85? So like 100 points for a 2-attack hero. Obviously, he is +1 to wound and everything, which is nice. But like he won't get the special rule thing with the VPs because the leader doesn't have the
They're not
Gondor keyword.
Ministers. Yeah.
Yeah, so you won't get that. So like 100 points does feel steep, but like I don't know who else you're taking instead of him in this
Maybe
list.
Ingold or
So save some
Irolas,
points against
maybe.
more
Irolas.
troops, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do
Irolas
you
with the
need?
+1 to wound.
Yeah, maybe. Do you need the extra troop churning that someone like Huron provides in this list? I mean, you've got lots of other threats, but sort of he adds on to that pile, so that is quite nice to have. But yeah, the +1 from these Hitel Guard would be nice. Yeah, potentially to put in there less D6, but
I suppose we're also looking at 320 points of foot hero here that can't lead or isn't leading any troops.
yeah,
Obviously, Aragorn in general is great, but I think if you swapped Eladan and Elra here for another Minas Tirith hero, even a Minas Tirith captain, you'd get up to your 40, I don't know, 48 models, 50 models. You'd maybe swap the men at arms of Dol Amroth for more spear and shield guys.
yeah.
The problem then that I'm looking at that list, I'm just like, oh, it's just Men of the West, but worse, you know?
But is he trying to pike the twins? Is that maybe the thought? Or I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I know because I do listen to Adam Bird's podcasts. Shout out to him on Spotify. The he does like Gandalf, and he has used this like a similar list before, and he's trying to work out which heroes he wants to use, and he's run through like Halbarad with Banner and things like that, and he refuses to use Legolas out of principle, which is a choice. I think maybe drop Aragorn to Legolas, don't drop Hurin to
And then beef it out.
Irolas, and then beef it out with numbers. Except that if you're getting the good heroes, you're not getting if you're getting good heroes, you're not getting good warbands.
Yeah,
Which I think
it's
is
sort
what
of the
this list is
trade-off.
always suffering with.
Yeah.
Is the heroes you want to take for the warbands and the warriors they can take are not the heroes you want who are going to be heroic
gets tricky.
combating.
Yeah. Yeah, but obviously this list does have 14 might. Obviously with the 3 from Aragorn, which I think is like maybe a little bit slept on. Like obviously he's no King Elisar, but like it's still even on foot. Just having the 3 might, to do loads of different things with is obviously super nice. With the free combat as well. So like there's a hell of a lot of resources there.
Yeah, it just isn't resilient to losing 10 models in a turn, though, is it?
No, it's not. No.
Yeah,
So
one bad turn could be it,
could be it.
basically.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of leeway for this list. So
I admire the creativity though, and
yeah,
I would like to see it do well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. We
It could do well with the one we need to get the Valor Heroes forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
True. Yeah. Okay. We shall leave it there for this list, and we shall move on to starting to look at some evil lists here. And we have
boy.
Mr. Ashley Walgers, host of the Witch King list. Now, Sam, I'll hand this over to you, as this is sort of your list from last weekend, to sort of give a brief overview of kind of what's included and everything for us.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Ash made like maybe 3 changes basically compared to my list from this weekend. So, it's 60 models host the Witch King as the leader with the Morgul Blade on the horse, and then the Shadow of Rudar captain, and then triple barrel wights. So I had 7 werewolves and 7 barrel wights. However, Ash has gone for 8 werewolves and
Heaven Barrow White,
5
sorry, just to...
You mean spectres,
I
right?
had to.
spectres. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Ash has gone for 8 werewolves and 5 spectres. So more on the hard
Less
hitting.
spectres, more werewolves. Yeah.
Which the werewolves are great. I found Ash was intrigued to see how I got on over the weekend, because the thing I found was, especially for this event or for the finale, is that I would have liked to have had a few wild riders basically to pick up objectives and stuff, because the werewolves can't do it. And I found that to be quite an issue on the last weekend. And if Ash had known that knowledge, he probably would have dropped 2 werewolves and gone for war riders and stuff like that.
Because we are playing Convergence, aren't we? That's one of them specifically with the heirloom.
So the Convergence you can only pick up with the orcs. Like, yeah, I played Ash in Convergence on the weekend, and this list I completely bullied his list, but he had a drum and the movement was too much for the scenario then he just got to the middle and won off that. But this list is really fun to use. It's very Ash, like it's kind of a slow, grindy list that has tools with the Witch King and the Morgul Blade and the Barrow Wights as well as the Spectres. You can do a lot of plays with this. It's really
You can
good.
one-shot a Balrog even, potentially.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff into the depths, because again, the goblins are so unbelievably poor courage-wise and intelligence and stuff that you can just pull them everywhere. And then the triple barrel is actually very bad for the barrel. Plus, then the Morgul Blade, it's a lot to deal with, and the Watcher isn't very intelligent either.
If you remember to cast Enchanted Blades, Samuel.
I know, right? I wouldn't
It
have
made
to
it
spend
even
that much.
easier.
The one thing in this list that is, like, I think the Shadow is kind of meh in general.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
But you kind of need him in this list really, because he gives you 2 more might, an extra spirit for your 3-inch bubble of terror, and he's 5/5, and he's quite nice to have just in the line as there to kill stuff with Blaze of the Dead and stuff. And this list does look like it has low courage, which it does for the orcs and stuff. But if you need to get stuff charging, you can start slamming your werewolves in, even the barrow wights after they cast the specters. You can get a lot of models in if you need to be able to like charge ghosts or a mummock if they're terrifying and stuff like that.
It's also one of those ones which is Fog of War's coming up, and it's actually surprisingly good at that, because you just remove the opponent's heroes from existence. The Shadow of Rudar just lets you, I like to call him the Shadow of Rhubarb, but he just lets you bully enemy heroes and just like curse them and do nasty shit like that. And with how Fog of War points work now, if your opponent's got the hero which they're really obviously protecting, like Legolas, and Shadow of Rudar's like, cool, nice fate point, fucko, and just immediately take away 2 points from your opponent for losing a fate point. It's pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's just his range being 6 inches is really rough. And his -1 for the fate rolls being 6 inches
Yeah.
The -1 to courage, it doesn't stack with Harbinger, so that's pretty null and void.
Yeah.
But he's just there for the might, really. He's just okay in the line.
He
Yeah.
feels like he doesn't have a great like purpose
Yeah.
for the cost that he is at 80 points. Like I would almost be asking why there wasn't a second Orc captain, just in case you are split up for Maelstrom or like
Yeah.
Divine Conqueror things,
Mhm.
or Convergence. But I respect the Rudar play. He's an interesting model and I think it's a good sculpt. So
Yeah. I think this is good though. I
yeah.
enjoyed using it over the weekend. And yeah, it has a lot of tools, and you're never really out of the game because of all the whales and stuff. Like one good turn of rolling to wound and stuff with the
Hot with the
whales,
werewolves.
you can
Yeah.
kill a lot. So yeah, it's a fun list, and I think Ash will do well as long as he doesn't, go into like really really heavy shooting and stuff like that.
Mm.
Or
And
83 Ugluk scouts might
yeah,
have an
well,
interesting. This I know that there's the whole Spectre thing where you can be like, oh, you're pulling the models around, but a fight for horde that kind of just kills it.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it could be
that's
tough.
the thing. The Witch King
Ca
can. I mean, thankfully there's no scouts, but it's Witch King
Kingdom
with
of
Trans
Kingdom of
and stuff.
Khazad-dûm might be okay into it because dwarves are
Yeah,
all intelligence 6, they're D7, they're fight 4, strength 3 or strength 4. So
Mm.
yeah. I think that's the main thing. If you don't rely on heroes, that's your best time into this. But that's when
yeah,
the werewolves kind of help there because you can just slam 8 werewolves into their front line and hopefully
Yeah.
kill dwarves at strength 5 and
yeah,
leave them knocked
It
eight
down.
takes up a lot of space.
eight werewolves is. I played against a heavy werewolf list on the weekend, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine. They're just like 2 attack, 2 wounds." It wasn't fine.
They're good.
No.
They're very good.
They're
Yeah.
good fun.
Yeah. Adam, any thoughts on this one before we move on?
Yeah, Shadow of Raldor's got Curse. Um,
Curse with
With
a fog of disarray and drain courage.
Drain Courage.
see, they're all
They're all mid. They're all very
yeah.
mid.
So I played against this list the other day, and the guy I was playing against was like, because I use my Defenders of Pelennor list, which is if you watch the live stream from Lemon Cup, it's basically what we took,
Shout out.
except at 700 points, I don't take any bolt throwers. So it's 15 dead guys, Legolas, leader, Irolas with spears and 2 bows, and then Captain Tirith with just lads and a banner. And so basically, I just completely minced this in combat, and then my opponent was like, "Okay, I'm going to try. No, sorry, I'm going to wither Legolas." I was like, "Fine."
Yeah. Like his most useful one is realistically Fog of Disarray, but then once you're close enough to actually have Fog of Disarray affect your opponent, then your specters become worse because they then can't pull people out as easy and stuff like that. Um, and then realistically Curse is the second best one because if you do curse their leader and they go, oh, I'll let it go off, and then you curse the leader again, oh, I'll let it go off, and then all it takes is if it's a drawing game, okay, I'll black dart him. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a leader wound. Now I win 1-0 or something like that. It's
Yeah.
they're the only real applications, but apart from that, it's yeah, they're not. He's not fab, to be honest.
Thing is, the line is so weak that you do need all these tricks to work.
Yeah,
Mm.
you need the terror to go off, which is
You,
one.
you need the specters to pop.
Yeah, the amount of men in the
Well,
West could be
that's
problematic.
literally what I was about to say, yeah, because it was when I took Army of the Great Eye with the Black Nuns to 100 last month. I was hoping I wouldn't play much Fearless. I ended up playing lots of Fearless, so the numbers weren't really very good. Obviously, with 9 Men of the West, you've got depths in there. There's just is more Fearless maybe around than you'd expect to see
Yeah,
sometimes.
This is one of those ones where in Muster of Isengard, because Berserkers are Courage 3 but Intelligence 8, the
Mm.
Spectres suddenly become quite good value,
Mm.
which is an interesting one to just pull them away from the line and pull them around. I know there's a couple of Muster of Isengards floating around,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd be interested to see how that one goes.
Mm.
Basically, Men of the West with the Witch King up to fight 7 against men will be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See how Ash has to get on with whether he uses that to his best of his ability or not. But yeah,
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
he'll do well. It'll just be matchup dependent
yeah.
for the certain scenarios that is worse at like convergence, basically.
Mm.
Um,
You think he'd end up playing it at some point over the weekend, like, there's
yeah,
a lot of them there.
he'll have a tricky. I think he'll have a tricky weekend, but played well enough. I think he could do well.
He could pull it out when we need him to. So check out
Yeah.
the live stream for sure. Okay, we shall leave it there. And Sam will be staying with you because we're moving on next to a similar list in essence,
Oh yeah.
but extremely different at the same time. Extremely lemon. Indeed, it's the Shadows of Angmar with a twist. Sam.
Yeah. So I got basically Shadows of Angmar. So Gullivar with 5 Orc Shield, 6 Horse Spear, Banner, Spectre, and then 2 Wild Riders with Shield. Captain, 3 Shield, 3 Spear, Spectre, Werewolf, Wild Rider, and then 2 Barrow-wights with 3 Shield, 3 Spear, same warband,
Mm-hmm.
and then 4 Angmar Orc Shamans,
Just say
each
that one more
with
time. Just say that. Sorry, one more time.
yeah. So the Angmar Orc Shaman, I've got 4 of them. 4 Angmar Orc Shamans.
Fucking hell.
4 Narn, Jeremy. 4 Narn.
4 Angmar Orc Shamans. That's
Four?
insane.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
And then each of those has a Spectre and a Werewolf inside its warband. So 52 models in total. Probably on the lower side for Angmar, you could say.
So,
But
Sam, for any of our viewers, our audience who are not familiar with the lemon tech that this list brings, enlighten us, please.
so I mean, I'll be honest, I can't take credit. I can take credit for building this list and
Mm.
taking someone's idea, but the idea was not mine originally. That goes to mainly Connor Kerr, shout out, as
Yeah.
well as Ash as well. To believe in Connor's idea and then tell
And
me,
Sam's
and I
bringing
made
it to
it.
the
I
tabletop
birthed it
here.
basically.
Yes.
So yeah, it's the Shamans they're 50 points, but then you get so the main thing is they have a 12-inch wither on a 4 plus, which
Mm.
I don't know what it was last edition, but that's pretty good. Um, and if you wither a hero to the point where their strength is below 1, i.e. nothing, they just die. So, uh, a strength 4 hero, you wither them 4 times, they get taken off the board, they just die, which can be quite powerful when a lot of these expensive
Mm.
heroes, like
One of the
Imrahil,
worst.
are strength 4. So. And you also have channel for each of these, so that it can guaranteed go off on a 6.
Oh, they
And
all have a point of might.
yeah,
Okay.
and then in
Yep.
combination with that, if they resist that, you then have 2 Barrow-wights to help out as well. So there's synergy between the 6 casters, I'd hope. My aim is to wither a huge monster
Everything.
like a Mummock or a Balrog. That will be unbelievably lit. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But
Mm.
yeah, it's also got what 6 Spectres and 5 Werewolves and 3 Wild Riders as well. So
Terror everywhere still.
a good amount of moving people around,
Oh, and
summoning
also
werewolves
Gullivar as well.
and Gullivar
So.
as well. Oh yeah, I forgot
Mm.
about him. Obviously a very good assassination piece, quite intelligent surprisingly, so we can pick up stuff and yeah, I'll be I'll be intrigued to see how I do. It'll be extremely fun. Let's just
Mm.
say that.
Denby, your rebuttal here.
I was just going to say, firstly, it's going to have the same problem against dwarves and like high model count lists like Overlooked Scouts, which again, there aren't Overlooked Scouts, so shut the fuck up, Stephen. You just love Overlooked Scouts. You don't want to bother withering the Mummock because you've got to do it 8 times to kill it.
That's fine. I got 12 will, mate.
What, so you channel 4 times and then you do it again, you do it
Just
again.
one
you do it-
dice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, you start one dice, but you don't channel. If you get 4 off or 6 off, then you go for the channels.
The problem you're going to have
in
is
that
that
one,
the
yeah.
first turn that you're within 12 inches of the Mummock, the next turn it's going to trample you. So,
It needs 11 inches, mate.
okay.
You're trample free
Okay.
Sheesh.
because
I-
you're
Got it
actually
worked
withering
out.
the mummock itself. You're not withering the guy on top.
So when I was sold this list, I was sold the version that had like 9 shamans or something, which was much cooler. I feel like this is a bit of a half-assed version of that. I want to see you on stream with a Aragorn King Elisar down to nothing in 1 turn.
Yeah,
This is
easily.
what
That's
it's,
easy.
it's,
That's the
it's
point.
there for the taking.
It's they roll poorly on those resists. They're nice.
Sheesh. How much will do you spend? When do you spend it?
Yeah.
These are the
And then if you spend all the will
Problems.
to get rid of the wither, you then
Then-
get
oh.
paralyzed.
You're paralyzed.
So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
It'll be admittedly, yeah, again, lists that don't use heroes. I've got to
Yeah,
hope that
that's going to be.
Gulliver and the werewolves absolutely shred, basically.
You're
If
just
they
hoping to
don't,
avoid those lists and
yeah,
play
if
the
they
big
don't,
scary stuff.
I probably lose, but that's part of the game plan.
Part of the
So
fun.
There's only 5
yeah,
games, so less match
exactly.
up sort of heavy. Yeah.
And like lead from the front, people can't exactly hide their heroes. They got to bring them forward if they want to win. So um, there's ample time for me to do my shaman abilities.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, it's just like when was the last time anyone saw an Angmar or shaman opposite them? Never mind
Mm.
4 of them. It's just it's a bit of a Chad list.
Then they're
Yeah,
not going to know what to do.
exactly.
I was
It's
about to
just
say that people would be unaware, but obviously now we have just sort of explained the whole what
yeah,
it does and
but
how. So
still.
Fortunately, Elliot, only like 3 people listen to this podcast.
yeah,
And one of them
He
is
doesn't really
me.
handicap.
So
That's it.
Yeah.
So every episode.
Yeah, but no, it's gonna be extremely fun. And
Have you had a practice game with it yet? Or
I'll have absolutely 0 practice games with this. I need to
he doesn't
paint.
need practice. This is
I need to-
Sam Grattan. He is
Yeah.
the Angmar guy.
well, last
I
time
need
he
to
used
paint for
Gulliver,
him.
he got the
Yeah.
podium. So
Yeah. I need to paint 4 Angmar shamans though. That's the thing. So yeah, but
Enjoy
it's
it.
gonna be
Just
fun.
to quickly check. So between the two of you, you've got 5 werewolves. He's got 8.
Yeah.
Do you have 13 werewolves in the Gollum's Gamers Arsenal?
Yes.
we do now,
Okay.
baby.
Good, because I
The
know
arsenal
I
is
know you
growing.
were running the wolf pack of not the wolf pack. You were running the
Wolf pack of beast.
wolf pack of Angmar or whatever it was.
Vince
Yeah.
has got even more somewhere.
That's
Back up on the channel.
I'm saying yes based on Vince having them as well.
Okay.
I have 5. No, sorry, I have 4. Ash has, I think 6, maybe
We are
7.
one. We are one.
And Vince isn't actually at the event, so
Yeah,
We
I
have
mean,
even more.
basically, Nick, who is an absolute legend, shout out Nick Walker.
yeah,
Indeed.
Walker, yeah.
I will most likely be using one of his, and obviously Ash has bow rights, so I'll be needing bow rights from Nick.
Okay.
I will need orcs from Nick. I will need specters from Nick. Basically, I'm using Nick's army.
Can I
Just
can I
another
make
member.
can I
Yeah.
make a suggestion? Just because James Goebel messaged me on like Thursday night last week, being like, "Oh, can I borrow this from you?" And I was like, "No, I don't have that." Just make sure. Just check early. Yeah, I want to see this happen, Sam. I need this list to play. You know.
But yeah, no.
I will be there.
Nick has everything from it. He's already said you can borrow everything. He has
Sweet.
this.
Sweet.
I have the shamans though, because they must be mine.
They need a lemon paint job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I
Yeah.
look forward to it. This will be fun. It'll be a funny list to play, and I hope. I mean, not exactly a fun list to play against, but I hope people can see the.
That doesn't matter.
I hope people can see the joy in playing against an Angmar Orc shaman.
It's a new challenge, for
Exactly.
people to figure out. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and we need Sam to figure it out really, because we need Sam to win the event to dethrone Denby and his heroics crew.
Yeah. Adam, what do you think of?
that's-
Because obviously you were at Ash's house when Connor probably spoke the words of
Spawned.
wisdom about the Angmar Orc shamans.
Honestly, I really struggle to understand the man.
he's been waiting for his moment.
Fair enough.
Come on,
Fair
Adam.
enough.
But I woke up on the Saturday morning and he was just saying, all I heard was weather, weather, weather. And I was like,
From Connor.
what? And I wake up and I see Vinny just talking to him. And Vinny's like thinking how I don't understand what this idea is about. And he was like, 2 dice. Okay, 2 dice. Okay. But you do all of this after you've been throwing down all of the paralyzers, so they've got no will left. So you're just throwing 2 dice, you're throwing 2 dice, throwing 2 dice. And Vinny's like, yeah, I still don't get it. And then the idea of channeling that last one, it's just like,
Oh, to just
Gosh.
wipe him off the board.
The death knell.
goodbye,
Yeah.
hero and fog of war.
Yeah.
The death
I'm
ray.
safe. Who
You
am I
see
going to
that valor
protect?
hero there on the
And then it turns out
Yeah, which one?
you've written
Yeah.
down the wrong hero because you're Elliot Schilling.
Because yeah. Well, Sam, how are you gonna sort of have these shamans? How are we gonna tell them apart?
I mean,
Scheme
these shamans
the-
are going to be the ugliest shamans you guys have ever seen. Let's just say that, and they will
One
be
pink,
unbelievably
one
carefully painted. Probably just dipped in a paint pot and washed. So don't you worry, you'll be able
It'll
to
be easy to
tell the
spot.
difference.
then.
Listen, if you get disqualified for not having 3 color minimum,
I'll make sure of it. I promise.
We need all the help
yes.
we can get, Denby.
As long as 3 of
eyes.
those colors are
Don't be
brown,
scheming.
you'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be okay.
There you go.
They'll be very visibly differentiated. Let's just say
They'll
that.
be popping on
Nice.
the battlefield. Nice.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we shall leave it there for the Shadows of Angmar list, and we shall move on to a Lothlorien list here. We were touching on Loth a little bit earlier on. So this is a 49 model list. This is Luke Hilder's. He's been using Loth a hell of a lot lately. He's been using the Pajama Elf spam lists, but here it's a bit more of your traditional sort of Loth list. So he has Galadriel as the leader with the mirror. He has Celeborn, Rumil, and a Lothlorien captain. He's got a sort of fairly even ratio of Galadriel warriors with shield, and the same with shield and spear. He's got 6 Guard of the Galadriel Court in there. He has 2 Lothlorien warriors with banner. He has 3 Sentinels, which is kind of the unique thing about this. He's paid the points for 3 Sentinels plus the 2 banners while still hitting that 49 model mark. And has he got any Pajama Elves in there? Yeah, he's got 2 with bows, so he's not like his Elven Cloak, Hide, Spam, and Kite sort of list. And he does have a Knight in there as well. Only the 1 Knight, though. But he's got 3 Sentinels. So thoughts on kind of this particular kind of build of Loth at 1,000 points?
This is almost identical to something that I built maybe for Melton. Sorry, not Melton, the event that's just gone. I think the only difference is I was on 2 Sentinels, but I think 3 Sentinels is actually quite good. A lot of models and a lot of armies that you're going to be coming up against that you're worried about as Lothlorien, having intelligence checks is really good. You deal with Crebain, you deal with Bat Swarms, you deal with Goblins to just yeet them in front of Balrogs, things like that. It's very resilient against magic, like if you've got a bunch of Angmar Orc Shamans trying to wither you, for example.
Oh no.
Galadriel is scared of the Angmar Orc Shamans. Strength 3. Oh no, no, no.
No. She does have resolve though, so she can get up to 2 free dice per turn for her
Doesn't
Is she
resolve.
going to rely on that, though?
Doesn't matter. I only need 3 Angmar Orc Shamans to kill her.
The key thing to look at for this list is it's got only 6 bows. And this is a conversation that I've had with Luke over the last few months, sequentially several times, and it's like I was going back to earlier, shooting isn't as good as people think it is. And in elf lists, like Lothlorien lists, being static is a mistake that will lose you the game. And he's played his Wood Elf spam list with the thrown weapons and whatnot, and now he's gone for a solid fight 5, D6 through most of the way through battle line. Celeborn is really slept upon in my opinion at the moment. The +1 to wound, especially against elite armies, is really good. Also Writhing Vines is really good. Rumil, now he's back in the game, also really good because he's got 2 fate, so not only has he got the heroic defense and the parry against big stuff, if he cops a wound or 2 and you roll 2 fate and then you just get them back from the mirror next turn, he is very resilient because of that.
Yeah, Mirror is super good. I played Luke actually at Melton, and we both rolled a 1 for priority, and he had it the turn before, so it was meant to go to me, and I was like, fantastic. He's Mirror. So the Mirror being better, having elves with high fight, like being able to go 2-hand within range of Celeborn, and like you're wounding on 4s, like the changes to 2-handing for this list. Yeah. With that change also to Celeborn is just super good with the 2 banners. Like you're winning lots of fights and wounding on 4s on your front rank. Potentially, super good.
If I was going to change this list, and this is just my personal preference, and I will hold my hands up and I'd say I think Luke is better with Lothlorien than I am. For my comfort, I would take 2 Sentinels and then increase the Guard of the Galadriel Court to like 10 or 12. Just so you've got that anti-fight 5, just absolute block of +1 to wound shredding goodness. And I'd also try and squeeze a second Knight in if possible. And you'd still get like 50, 52 models.
Yeah. I do sort of like not really mind that because like you're not really seeing too much like high fight lists at the moment. Obviously at 1,000 points you would think like it's more elite lines and things, but like we're usually seeing lately it's been like scouts, Balrog lists and things like that. It's not even at these higher points we're seeing it's not usually like your elf spam lists that are sort of like quite meta at the moment. So like, do you need that as much? I'm not sure.
I mean, fight six against a lot of fight six heroes that are floating
Is
around.
still yeah.
Also against Men of the West for the
More
Frodo
flexible.
turn. Yeah, things
Mm.
like that. I think this is
Yeah.
a list that has a potential to win. It doesn't have the edge to be a consistent winner, but
Mm.
it's got tools, it's got lots of tech. It's a very solid, resilient list. It's not as resilient as dwarf lists, but yeah, I think in the right hands, and Luke Hilda is the right hands.
Yes.
If Luke Hilda wins, I would not be surprised.
Yes, we have had Luke on stream before with elves, not Lothlorien, but he is no stranger to an elf list for sure.
If he wants to win, and he really wants to win and plays to win, I would back Luke to win hundreds and podium hundreds regularly. The problem is Luke sometimes just has this like giddy, boyish look in his eye and goes, "Oh, this is a silly idea, isn't it? But I'm going to do it." And I'm like,
"This is a fun gamble. Let's roll that dice."
It's like
I've lost.
Yeah, I could do the safe play, or I could do a 50-50, and I've lost the 50-50. Excellent, lovely, wonderful.
Sadness. Yeah.
Um,
Any more thoughts on Loth before we move on? No? Okay. We shall leave it there, and we shall move on to a AOL list. This is a 80 model list, which obviously at 1,000 points is a lot of models to try and get through, even when they are just orcs and small little goblins. So the heroes we have here are Musgur, Druzag, there's one goblin captain and one shaman, and then two wild chieftains. Obviously, loads of orcs, loads of goblins, 20 bows in total. And in terms of like the other sort of tech he's got in there, he's got 2 Mirkwood hunting spiders and 3 bat swarms, and I think that's it. And 1 banner, yeah. So Sam, you were sort of quite high on this AOL, sort of 1,000 points. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was when we were speaking about it, I was like, it's an interesting list to talk about because I think off first glance it looks scary. It's very high model count. It's got the +1 to shooting. It has your spiders and bats and stuff with 2 chieftains. Like it's got all the tools AOL always has, and can be just annoying to play against. Um, Again, the issue this list will have is playing the scenarios because it doesn't have anything that can pick up stuff that's quick. There's not a single Warg Rider in
Can this
here.
take Warg Riders? Yeah.
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 So that's the main issue. It doesn't have that. Everything's a beast that is fast, so it can't pick up stuff. And if it wants to get anywhere, it's also slow moving because it's orcs and goblins really.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's got a captain, but it's I wonder how much they get to shoot, basically, is the main thing. And that's if you don't shoot with this list, and then you move on the board and you then come up against a 50 model Erebor acclaimed, that it just isn't enough. 80 models is not good enough really to prevent that.
On a 6x4 board, like you're gonna
Yeah.
run into the dwarves, and
So
yeah.
I think to me, if the scenarios weren't what they are,
Maybe
I
there's
I think this list would instantly go up my estimations of being really, really good and stuff like that. And like Tom Seacombe has done well with AOL. So it's definitely still got legs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Has
just
AOL podiumed this year?
Yeah, Tom Seacombe.
Did it?
yeah, Tom with a
Oh, that was what he used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Verticon.
What event was that?
Verticon, he came third.
Elliot,
Yeah.
did you just is this event? Have I missed something? Is this a 6x4 table for this event?
Oh, sorry. I meant 4x4 table. Sorry. On a
Right.
4x4. It's yes. Sorry.
yeah. It's hard to bring those 80 models to bear, really.
Yeah.
They're not quick enough. With other armies with
Yeah.
similar numbers, the 80 models you can wrap round, or you've got lots of march. Obviously, I'm referencing scouts because I'm addicted to scouts. But when you've got a movement 5 on the goblins, you are too slow and you're just going to get choked up. And then it's only got 20 bows and only got 12 throwing weapons, which
Hmm.
obviously the bows and throwing weapons are now split between I say now, they are split between the prowlers and goblins, goblin warriors. So you can't get both a third bows and a third throwing weapons unless you go down the trackers route. Um, but yeah, I think it's not as good as it once was, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's just basically not playing like a scenario such as Lords, not having a killie pool will help it. And if it plays a list that is not again the quickest in scenarios like convergence and things, if it plays, say, Ash's list, for example, where Ash is moving in an extra inch per turn, like that isn't out of the realms of possibility of them being quite an even matchup. It's just a case of it can't shoot, so it's probably just
No.
going to lose in the line fight anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's obviously
It's
something that it leans on quite heavily, to
Yeah,
do a lot
and
of the killing and stuff.
yeah,
anything that's hitting 60 plus models and is fight 4 plus is going to beat it, and anything that's hitting 50 plus models and is D7 plus, so again dwarfs, is just going to
Mm.
beat up on it. Um, it will do well at Fog of War though, is one thing I would say, is because it's got all the models. It's got all the models that can just run around and be quick. The spiders and the bats. Oh my. And the heroes who you can just protect. Because even the Wild Chieftains, you can just be very, very conservative with them.
Mm.
It
Yeah.
it it will do well in Fog of War, but I think the other scenario is it's got two Heroes of Valor for lead from the front, for example, and then Stake a Claim. It's only got one lot of March, so at most it'll have some models in the middle on turn one, and then you might just lose out to anything that's got a 6 inch move double march list so that it can move 9 inches up and get quite a few
Yeah.
models on the objectives. Um,
Mm.
I think, yeah, it's a 3-3-2 or a 4-1 list, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it looks scary, but again, playing the scenarios is
With
always the
the
main
scenarios,
thing,
yeah.
and I don't know how well this does that.
Might struggle in some of
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to remember the 20 bows, if they haven't moved, which they should be moving for almost all of the scenarios, you're going to get 7 hits, and then you're going to get 2 wounds, so they might kill two, maybe three models a turn with the bows. It's
Mm.
really not as scary as it looks if you just run
yeah,
it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be interested to see how New Edition AOL at 1,000 points will do, but we shall leave it there and we shall move on to our final list, which would it be a GBHL 100 preview without talking about the depths of Moria, specifically
No.
the Balrog Watcher combination here. I wanted to get the thoughts from the panel. So this 1,000 point list, it has the Balrog, the Watcher, 60 goblins, 3 captains, a load of shield, a load of spear, no bows, and 5 prowlers in there? Yeah,
Mm.
but the combination of the Balrog Watcher, very tricky. How do you beat it? What can you do? What does it struggle at? What do we think?
Struggles versus the Angmar list with the paralyzers, obviously.
You take
Um,
Witch King and the host, and then you win,
Yeah.
basically.
So David Farmer strongly believes, and I agree with him, that this might be the best take all comers list at 1,000 points. The Balrog is obviously just incredibly good. You've got models to shield them off. The Watcher in the Water can act like a worried mother and like pick off models in front of him that get too much for him to deal with.
Yep.
Board wide banner, which at 1,000 points you're going to be getting value out of. I think the only thing that I would tweak about this list is I would take some Gundabad captains because they're just better than the standard captain in every single way.
Good.
Um,
Good
but
the beast.
I think you only need one or two of them. You drop to 60 models if you take a couple, I think. Is that right? Are they 5 points difference?
They're
Yeah, I
5
think it was only
points more.
5.
Yeah.
I remember
So-
Ash was saying on a pod that they're like way better for the 5
They're
points or something.
plus intelligence, courage, defense. They've got hatred dwarves. They've got a
Yeah.
two-handed weapon. Like they are
That's it,
just
yeah.
they are just a straight upgrade in basically every single way. It's just a very consistent list. You know exactly what you're getting with it. The Balrog will completely fuck it in two of your combats each game. But as long as you don't put him out on a limb, which is the problem with the Balrog, is people just go, oh, it's the Balrog, he's unstoppable. And then you get him surrounded and trapped, and he takes 5 or 6 wounds, and then you can break.
Yeah.
You keep him with your goblin line. You never overextend him. The Watcher sorts out any problematic models in your opponent's list, and you just walk over the enemy.
That's just what can be like so hard. Like when you've got the Balrog and the Watcher sort of playing near each other. If the scenario sort of dictates that you can do that, but that's ultimately kind of the goal, is that your opponent, like, they can't put any of their sort of tools in their list, like their hard hitting things or the things that they need to go in there and sort of clean up. They can't put them anywhere near the Balrog. Obviously, you wouldn't really want to do that anyway, but now you've got the Watcher there as well. Like, as soon as you go in range, you just run the risk of being pulled into no man's land, and you're just gonna die. Like, it's so tricky.
Even your Aragorns or your fight 8 things that could strike up your Elendils.
Yeah.
If the Watcher grabs them from the front of the Balrog, puts them next to them, and then the Balrog heroic combats off another model into them, or next turn just goes in and kills them, it's very difficult to deal with without magic of some kind or without non-committal heroes you don't care about. So like even the AOL list. Well, to be fair, the AOL list will shoot the Balrog and maybe do a couple of wounds to it, but you need magic or heroes that you don't care about and aren't reliant on, and you're not reliant on you for winning the game. So this will absolutely chomp through a Bolg or an Azog or something like that.
But at high points, obviously, lots of these lists like probably are taking sort of fairly expensive heroes, that you need to do heavy lifting and do different sorts of things. Obviously, if you have magic in your list, that's kind of one thing that this would really struggle with. Or not even, if you have one caster, obviously you still need to pick which of the two you're casting on. So like,
and even then,
solve all your problems.
They've both got, so the Watcher's 5 will with resistant, the Balrog's 10 will with resistant. Like,
yeah, like a muster or something like can't just like, oh, it's a non-factor now. Like it's not quite that straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, Muster's actually not the worst into this.
Sure.
You also just fucking little shit rag Grima just stands in front of the Balrog and is like, listen, I know you're a demon of the ancient world, but you should listen to what I've got to say.
Sit there for a minute.
And obviously he can't stop the heroic combat, but you can stop the big fuck off base from doing anything.
Yeah. A model that can like do stuff to this is the what are they called? Oh yeah, the Angmar Shaman. They can wither the barrel to death, and they can kill that man in 2 turns or 3 turns. It will be
Adam's view is I can see it swinging here.
I am not sure that is the
reality.
The reality of the situation. I think the actual reality of the situation is you just kind of paralyze it and then Morgul Blade shank it. But yeah.
Well,
Orc Shaman is doing nothing to this.
Yeah, it is. You could kill the Watcher with an Angmar Shaman easily.
What's its other spell?
Oh, God knows. Who cares about that other one? Huh?
Is it curse or something like that?
It might be. I think. That sounds about right. But it's got. You could kill the Watcher in 2 turns, quite comfortably.
You could.
It's got 2 other spells.
You've got to get 6 withers off.
Half your withers. Half your withers is not that bad.
Okay, but it's still got resistant to magic and 5 will.
Yeah, that's not that much. When it only has 1 might, and you channel 4 of them. You never know.
Okay, so but then you spent 200 points of Angmar Orc Shamans on killing a 200-point Watcher in the water model.
Yeah, value.
It's taken a long time to do that.
Meanwhile, the Watcher is still whipping things and hitting them, and it doesn't actually matter what strength it is in combat because it's the fact that it's pulling models off the front that's doing the damage.
That is a big problem. Yeah, they have Instill Fear on a 3-up, Drain Courage on a 4-up, and Wither on a 4-up.
Instill Fear? Holy shit! This is crap. Someone should have told me.
I can instill fear the goblins away from the objectives on 4 objectives.
Instill Fear doesn't do that anymore. It makes models fearful, mate.
Oh, that's a shame. Sorry, I'm on edition.
Right. You can slow the game down even further by making them take 2 courage checks before they charge you.
Might have to do that.
Fuck it out. Wow.
Actually, no, I can't spend my will on fucking that.
Imagine on stream, right? It's literally just someone rolling courage checks for like 60 to
God, what a game.
Courage 2 Goblins in the AOL or
That'll be
something
so
like
good.
That's the kind of action you can see this weekend on the finale live stream,
Oh,
ladies and
yeah.
gents. Fucking hell. You may see a Balrog Watcher as well. I mean, so it podiumed at Melton. It came second. Has it won 100? Because Ash won
yes.
Gates of Gondolin. Which one did it win?
It won. So Ash didn't play Balrog at Gates of Gondolin, but it did win
played Farmer,
the
didn't
Northern
he?
Irish event.
You play Farmer with it.
Yeah. The Battles of no, but Farmer had the Balrog.
Farmer used it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Farmer used Balrog Watcher at Unnumbered Battles on the Coast. I can't remember what Conor Glover or Conor Faulkner's event is called at the moment.
Yeah,
it's
Battles
the
on
one
the
in
Coast,
Bangor,
yeah.
Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
He won that one with it.
Sure. Yeah. So it's done pretty well this year, and numerous times there's been a fair few 1,000-point events this year. Although at Berticon no one was really using it because of the changes to the monster rules. That's like a little bit of an outlier, but typically at 1,000 it is super, super good. Pretty hard to deal with across the board.
It's Balrog. It'll do well. It kind of plays itself. Kind of, it's pretty free. So
yeah, Watcher is just very lemon indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is the final list that we were going to be looking at. So Denby, any closing thoughts as we head into the finale here? The team's race is on. It's on.
Good luck, gentlemen.
May the best team win.
Yeah, may the best team win. Obviously, the big guns aren't there to defend. That being me and Jakob, and also Dave is playing an absolute punk list. But to be fair, Sam's playing a punk list as well. So
there you go.
I'm a themey guy.
I am upset you haven't shown off Ali King's list. To be fair, because
the dwarves.
My money for the finale is on 3 individuals winning it. One of them's Ali King, one of them's John Partridge, and the other one is David Reed. There's also a slightest bit of hope in me that I think Will Champion might pull off something miraculous. Come back from the old glory days. So look out for those 4 names.
Yes. But for anyone who doesn't know, so like heading into the weekend, so that Any Heroics squad are in front of us by like 2.5 points. So we have Ali, Sam, and Ash playing at the tournament, and we need a combination of things we need either Ash to win the event, Sam to win the event, or if Ash came second, that would put us in front as well, or for Ali to win the event and then like Sam to come second as well. So any one of those things, but then if anyone from Any Heroics is going, so Jordan or John, if either of those two get a 3rd place, that will just like probably put them ahead too far to where even if any of those things happen for us, we can't get in front. So
yeah, exactly. I think ultimately it's nice to see it come down to the wire and have these things like storylines, because it has been a little bit hopping. You've been ahead for a couple of months, and then we've been ahead, and then I had my surge towards the end of the year, and Kyle Bay came in and scored an absolute blinder at Berticon. So it's been a nice little story. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends up, and no hard feelings if we don't win, and if we do win, we'll be reminding you of it every single day.
Of course, I'm sure. Likewise. What storylines heading into the GBHL Finale live stream? And for all that action, you can check out the live stream this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I will be live both days all weekend long, so we do hope to see everyone over there on the stream. But that is going to close us out. So, Denby, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode here of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.